Once upon a time, there was a young man named Alex who came from a small, unassuming town. He wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth, far from it. He built his empire from the ground up, brick by brick, through sheer determination and an unyielding work ethic. By the time he hit 30, Alex was a name synonymous with success in the business world. He had everything a man could dream of: a sprawling mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, and a company that was the envy of his competitors. Yet, despite all his material wealth, there was a void in his heart, a longing for something more genuine, something money couldn't buy: true love. One evening, at a high society charity gala, Alex met Clara. She was breathtaking. With eyes that sparkled like distant stars and a smile that could melt the coldest of hearts, she captivated him instantly. Clara wasn't from his world of corporate takeovers and stock market fluctuations. She was an artist, a free spirit who saw beauty in the simplest things. Alex was smitten. He felt he had finally found the missing piece of his life's puzzle. He showered her with affection and gifts, not just to impress her, but because seeing her happy brought him a joy he'd never known. He bought her a state-of-the-art studio, funded her exhibitions, and introduced her to his influential circle. To Alex, Clara was his queen, and he was her devoted king. He trusted her completely, sharing his deepest secrets, his fears, and even the passwords to his personal accounts. He saw their future painted in the vibrant colors of her canvases, a life filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. But a shadow was lurking in the corners of their perfect picture: a man named Julian. He was an old friend of Clara's from her art school days, a struggling artist with a chip on his shoulder and an envy that burned like acid. Julian would often visit their home, his eyes lingering on the opulence that surrounded him. He'd offer Alex friendly advice, all while planting seeds of doubt and greeting Clara's mind. "Look at all this, Clara," he would whisper when Alex was away on business trips. "He has so much, he wouldn't even notice if a little went missing. Think of what we could do with that kind of money. We could travel the world, open our own gallery in Paris, live the life we always dreamed of, without being under his thumb." At first, Clara resisted. She genuinely cared for Alex. But Julian was persistent, his words a constant, seductive poison. He played on her insecurities, reminding her of her humble beginnings, making her feel like a kept woman rather than an equal partner. Slowly, insidiously, his influence began to take root. The lines between right and wrong blurred, and the allure of immense wealth and freedom became too strong to ignore. The plan was hatched on a cold, rainy night. It was simple, yet devastating. Alex was scheduled to fly to Tokyo for a week-long conference to finalize a billion-dollar merger. This was their window of opportunity. Julian had spent weeks studying Alex's financial structures, using the information Clara fed him. They would drain his personal offshore accounts, the ones he kept for emergencies, the ones nobody else knew about. The night before his flight, Clara was unusually affectionate. She made his favorite dinner, looked into his eyes, and told him how much she would miss him. Alex, completely oblivious, felt a surge of love and reassurance. He kissed her goodbye at the airport the next morning, promising to call her as soon as he landed. That was the last time he would see her. As soon as Alex's plane was in the air, Clara and Julian put their plan into action. With the passwords and security codes Alex had so naively shared, they initiated a series of complex wire transfers. Millions of dollars were funneled through a labyrinth of shell corporations and anonymous accounts, finally landing in a newly created account in a country with lax banking laws. Within hours, a significant portion of Alex's personal fortune had vanished. They didn't stop there. They took jewelry, rare art pieces from the walls, and even the keys to one of his vintage sports cars. They packed their bags, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilarating greed. They left behind the life Alex had built for them, and in its place, an empty house filled with echoes of betrayal. When Alex landed in Tokyo, his phone buzzed with a series of frantic alerts from his bank's fraud department. His heart sank. He tried calling Clara, but her phone went straight to voicemail. A cold dread washed over him. He immediately contacted his security team back home. The news they delivered was a sledgehammer to his soul. The house was empty. Clara was gone. And his money, a huge chunk of it, was gone too. The world Alex had built so meticulously came crashing down around him. The betrayal was far more painful than the financial loss. The woman he loved, the woman he had trusted with his entire world, had conspired with another man to destroy him. The pain was a physical ache, a hollow space in his chest where his heart used to be. For weeks, Alex was a ghost. He locked himself away, refusing to see anyone. The merger he had worked so hard for fell through. His business began to suffer. The man who once commanded boardrooms with unshakable confidence was now a broken shell. He replayed every moment with Clara, searching for a sign, a clue he had missed. But love had blinded him. One day, while staring blankly at a painting Clara had left behind a portrait of him, his eyes full of hope and love, something shifted. A flicker of the old fire returned. Was he going to let them win? Was he going to let their treachery define the rest of his life or no? The same resilience that had lifted him from poverty to prosperity began to stir within him. Alex got up. He took a shower, put on a sharp suit, and looked at himself in the mirror. The man looking back was wounded, but not defeated. He called his legal team and his best investigators. Find them, he said, his voice steady and cold as steel. I don't care how long it takes or how much it costs. Find them. The hunt began. Alex threw himself back into his work with a renewed, almost ferocious, energy. He used his pain as fuel. He rebuilt his company, making it stronger and more formidable than ever before. He learned a harsh lesson about trust, and he vowed never to be so naive again. He was no longer just a businessman, he was a survivor. Meanwhile, in a sun-drenched coastal town thousands of miles away, Clara and Julian were living their dream. But the dream quickly soured. The guilt gnawed at Clara, and the paranoia consumed Julian. They were constantly looking over their shoulders, trusting no one, not even each other. The money that was supposed to bring them freedom had become a golden cage. Their laughter was hollow, and their nights were sleepless. They had stolen a fortune, but in the process, they had lost their souls. Alex's investigators were relentless. They followed the money trail, piecing together the puzzle one transaction at a time. It took months, but finally, they got a breakthrough. They located Clara and Julian. Alex didn't want revenge in the way most people would think. He didn't want violence. He wanted justice. He wanted them to face the consequences of their actions, not just legally, but morally. He arrived in their seaside town, not with a team of lawyers, but alone. He found them in a crowded cafe. When Clara saw him, all the color drained from her face. She looked older, haunted. Julian flinched, looking like a cornered animal. Alex sat down opposite them, his calm demeanor more intimidating than any outburst could have been. I hope it was worth it, Alex said quietly, his voice devoid of emotion. He didn't need to say more. In his eyes, they saw the reflection of their own failure. They saw the man they had wronged, not broken, but stronger. They had everything they thought they wanted, but they were miserable. He had lost a fortune, but he had found himself again. In that moment, they understood the true meaning of poverty and wealth. Alex stood up, turned his back on them, and walked away, leaving them in the prison they had built for themselves. He was finally free. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. See you in the next video.